Hey guys, came from 15, joined by my uncle Daryl. We are back here talking Chicago Bears football, and the Bears finally get a W. The season sucks, but the Bears end off in a W, which, if I have to be honest, this team definitely needed this W with the way they looked like they were about to lose. But they overcame the trials and tribulations. They got their justice from week 11, and the Bears beat the Packers. Finally. Whatever. I Now we can go into this offseason wondering who the hell the next head coach is going to be. And hopefully it's better than Matt Eberflus. And hopefully it's better than whatever I got out of Thomas Brown today. Albeit I enjoyed the win. There was still some issues that I had with this game. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I thought we were going to do it all over again. I'm going to come over here, rant on this video about everything just happening, just from the top to the bottom. How terrible this season was. I literally had a tweet literally saying the way the Bears are going to lose this game is the same, is just a perfect culmination of everything this year. You do so much to put yourselves in a position to win, and then you make one fucking blunder that costs you the game and loses you the game. And guess what? You're over here sulking. But see, this time, despite, for whatever reason, after Gerald Everett, can't wait till he's gone, holds for unspeakable reasons. Thomas Brown then calls another. I think it would have to be like the 30th or 40th screenplay he threw today. DJ Moore fumbles the football. That just can't happen from your number one wide receiver. Thank God for the Bears defense getting a 3-and-out on that drive where it looked like the Packers could have blew some more clock, get closer, make themselves a field goal, win the game. They got a stop on 3rd and 3. Those trenches got and blew that play up. Credit to them. They made McManus make a field goal just barely. And I'm over here like, those 2 points would have mattered, huh, Thomas Brown? Because you would have been tied right now. But no. And then, realistically, let's just be honest. If not for that horse collar penalty, we might lose this game. But and then we ended up getting a penalty later on for illegal formation. But geez Louise, Caleb Williams pulls a rabbit out of his hat, gives us a freaking play. We've been asking to throw the ball down the field. The one play he throws it down in the field, throws the ball down the field, middle of the field, right then and there. I'm like, oh God, don't tell me what they're gonna do again. They spike it. I'm just leading up to this field goal. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna do this to myself. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna stand up praying to the heavens that we win. It's either gonna be another block field goal. It's either gonna be Cairo Santos misses short, or he's just gonna miss it. And he got the kickoff. Luckily, announcer doesn't go crazy talking about block kick. I'm like, he's gonna probably miss it or he's gonna be short. And it looked like he was gonna be short because these kickers were not kicking really hard because it's like 70 degrees in Green Bay, right? And when basically I'm like, okay, it's good, but is it gonna go short? And then when the referees look back and they were just hands up, you don't understand. I was screaming out, let's effing go for the love of God. Because finally, we beat these guys. Finally. I can live another day seeing, in my little short tenure as a Bears fan, we beat the Packers. So for now, they don't own us today. But whatever. The Bears win. I'll take it. There were some impressive performances today. Some performances that I'm just sick of. And then obviously the future lies into tomorrow. Does Ryan Poles get fired? I think after a game like this, he probably ain't getting fired now. For all intents and purposes, it sounds like he's probably going to. No, he's more than likely going to select the next head coach. I didn't like what he had to say on his ESPN 1000 press conference, but whatever. Oh, an update. Titans land the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Because the dumbass Patriots wanted to decide and pick a perfect time to win and beat the Bills, their hated rivals. So good on. You got 2 teams fumble. 2 teams fumble the first pick. The Giants and now the Patriots. I gotta hit up my boy Matt to see if he's upset about this. Anyways, look, this game had all the emotions. If we're being honest, the offense didn't really do nothing outside of the DJ Moore screen touchdown on that one drive, and then obviously putting together a drive to win the game. But the offense was complete dog crap. I I thought I was getting visions of Luke Getsy again, and we talked. I understand you don't trust your offensive line because they can't block for like 1 or 2 seconds. But my God, like screen after screen after screen, at some point teams are going to just read you. And that's what the Packers were doing. Like, I don't even know why. And then some of the just stupidity of Thomas Brown and his. It's just like, Ryan Poles, you said in your interview he's going to get an interview. I would not even give him an interview after this performance. One of the most egregious parts of the game is after we get the DJ Moore touchdown, he decides to go for two. I'm like, why are we going for two? Just kick the field goal. If the Packers score a touchdown, tie the game. Whatever. I don't care. Just kick the field goal. This guy goes for two. Now, earlier in the game, he decided, let's do a trick play. Let's do a reverse to this guy, who then's going to give it to the guy in Keenan Allen, who will be out the building first thing tomorrow. He'll pack his stuff and go back to LA. I hope the Chargers pick him up for a cheap contract. And Keenan Allen throws probably one of the most stupidest chuck up plays ever, where it's like, who cares? Whatever. I saw that. I'm like, why are we putting the ball in the hands of our wide receiver who more than likely is not going to be here next year? Why? He's just trying to get through the game, get his check, and probably go back to California. On the 2-point conversion, you not only did that first, you ran it again. It gets stuffed and blown up because there's nobody to throw to. Stupidly, the Packers hold. Okay, you move the ball basically to the 1-yard line. And this man elects to decline the penalty and just kick the field goal. What are we doing here? You were so aggressive to go for it when you're basically on like the 5-yard line, but when you could have an opportunity to move up closer, you just like, nah, we'll just take the safe points. And I literally thought when the Packers kicked the field goal, I'm just like, of course. It's typical Bears logic. They're going to mess it up because they decided to be safe and weak. And I was going to come on here and rant. After this game, if it was me in the building, all right, I know they're going to give him an interview out of the common courtesy. But if it's me, he's not even getting an interview. I don't care if I go back on my word. After what I saw this performance, we honestly should have lost this game. Whatever. So that's the thing. Packer fans are going to go on social media, cry, oh, well, Jordan Love wasn't playing. Oh, Josh Jacobs was on a limited basis. Oh, we lost Christian Watson, who may have torn his ACL. Well, Matt LaFleur didn't have to put them out there to begin with. He let them play. And guess what? Jordan Love and Christian Watson got hurt. So, how about this? Even though the Commanders won, guess what? We still sent your asses to go play the Eagles in Philadelphia. So hopefully you guys are week 1 or 1-round exits, and then you guys can sit on the couch just like we are. Anyways, you already know Packer fans that's gonna be all in their excuses of why they lost. It's not our fault that your defense basically let us go all down the field and basically win the game. But whatever. I don't care. I'll take this victory as if it's my Super Bowl because that's what I care.
It's definitely a lot to unpack here. I would probably say in the first half, you can definitely tell that the Bears were opening up the playbook. The the kick for a TD opened up the playbook. They really use, like I always say, when you run the ball or utilize your best player, which is DeAndre Swift, they utilize DeAndre Swift a lot. First half was was it was a positive showing in my mind. But it was just way too many turnovers. Now, granted, the defense did bounce back and got the ball back after the offense turned the ball over. The second half, when we went for two, I understood why they went for two. They wanted to go up 2 full scores, go up 9 instead of going up 8. I get that. But when they got the ball on the 1 yard line, they decided to go ahead and kick the field goal. Now that was my problem, dude. You're only 1 yard away. Continue to go for it.
And he didn't even accept the penalty. It's basically he declined it, and they kicked it off from where they originally would have kicked it off if
He
they just
would,
went for it first.
and they would have been on the 1 yard line, and then just go for it. Thomas Brown, for me, that was a blunder. Um, that last pass play, oh my goodness gracious, that was a thing of beauty because he lined up three wide receivers right because he
In a
knew they
stack
were going to be
formation, in a stack
in
formation.
stack formation on the right side because he knew they were going. He knew they were in man defense, leaving DJ Moore all by himself on what I thought was maybe a second string cornerback or their number two or number three cornerback. There was no way that dude was left on the island. There was no way he was gonna make. There was no way he was gonna D up DJ Moore on that one. I was really shocked to see how they ran that last 48 seconds. They did call a timeout with
Called a
20
timeout after
seconds.
Caleb basically rushed up the middle. I
Rushed
was
up
like,
the middle.
oh, you're learning our
And
lesson.
I'm yelling timeout, and they called timeout. I believe it was with 27 seconds left.
Yeah.
So then it was just, but before all of that, let me go back a little bit. That 3rd and 16, in which Stevenson gave up. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
dude, you gotta be kidding me. Here goes another 3rd and 16. You in man defense. If not in man defense, you had to be in at least cover 3 or cover 4. But I looked like it was man defense, and he was just trying his very best to make sure that he didn't let the receiver behind him. What's the matter? What'd you see?
No, I'm watching the Dolphins Jets game. They tried to do that freaking Aaron Rodgers pass it to Devontae Adams, who or no, the reverse thing like Keenan did.
Yeah.
Nothing was open. He throws it back to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sees nothing open. He throws it back to freaking Devontae Adams, and Jalen Ramsey comes up and kills Devontae Adams.
Okay, well, it's the Jets. What can you expect? Love got hurt. Watson got hurt. Um, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, it's football. So you Green Bay Packer fans, if you want to sit up here and cry over spilled milk because your number one quarterback got hurt and one of your wide receivers get hurt, then I mean, for me, that's football, dude. People, people, people get hurt. So, I mean, it was a great win. Uh, there was a lot of things that happened above the Chicago Bears as far as draft status go that you know, um,
Let me see if I can pull it up.
let's see. The Patriots obviously are out of the number one spot. The Giants are out of the number one spot, and the Titans got catapulted in the number one spot. So, New Orleans will be 5-12. We'll be 5-12.
Yeah, the Bears are basically they're going to have the 10th pick in the draft. We'll still have the top 10 pick, but we're the number 10th pick because we won.
Because we won. So, I mean, to be honest with you, it just feels really good to beat your rival and to knock out, you know, their quarterback, so he can't walk around bragging and huffing and puffing and pumping his chest out, talking about he's carrying on the legacy of Aaron Rodgers by owning the Bears. Not today.
Yeah, I'm also happy that we didn't lose to Malik Willis. Because, oh my God, if we had lost to Malik Willis the way we lost today, geez Louise.
Well, and I gotta admit, I mean, they came the Bears came and played inspired football, which is something we can't honestly say they have been doing over the past couple of months. So they came, they played some inspired football today. That hit on Malik Willis, oh my God. I mean,
Kevin Byard killed him.
Kevin Byard just put, and I thought they was gonna call a penalty, but when I looked at it again, he went face first and he didn't hit him with the crown of the helmet. I was just like, oh my goodness gracious. And that was right after a turnover to a fumble by DJ Moore. So whenever we turned the ball over, the defense did its job in getting the ball back and making sure we maintained the lead. So the 55-yard field goal by Brandon McManus, I noticed that they got that off quick. They didn't allow the Bears an opportunity to get set. And once the offense got set, they immediately kicked it. And the kick by Santos to win the game, yeah, it was for me, it was a typical Santos kick. It wasn't a low kick, it was very high. And it actually curved right back. When he first kicked it, I thought it was going to be wide left.
Yeah.
It looks like it curved right back and came back between the uprights. So overall, I mean, I really was enthralled by the way they were playing. They played some inspired football. It was a good win for the team, good win for the city. And at least we can at least go into the off season with some resemblance of our pride intact.
Yeah.
But now comes the real deal. Now the real deal is, what's going to happen with Ryan Poles? Is Ryan Poles going to get an opportunity to hire the new head coach? I mean, for me, that stuff is still kind of up in the air. But you got a lot of things that are coming out the city of Chicago that I hear in Germany. I'm just like, dude, what the hell? Ben Johnson wants to, you know, he's saying this and this rumor, that rumor. So
It could be a bunch of rumors, especially from his camp, that maybe he's putting out there to basically raise up the asking prices for these teams that desperately want him. He obviously, the reports about him being selective of who he would interview with, that's true. I would think he would obviously interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're setting their whole operation up to see, like, okay, we want him desperately because they're even getting
yeah,
rid of Trent Baalke, who's been a very long time GM of theirs in that
yeah,
organization. And there's reports saying that not only are they going to get rid of Doug Peterson, they're going to get rid of him. Just clean house and be like, yeah, you
yeah,
come in, you can choose your own guy, and stuff like that. And
yeah,
who knows? This could be a whole thing of, maybe he does want the Bear job. Maybe he is willing to work with Ryan Poles, but he wants maybe more money to do that,
yeah,
more
to do
long-term
that. Yeah.
security.
And then
Knowing,
on top of that, let's be honest here. I mean, he's going to want to go to a team with a young, established franchise quarterback. That's obviously Chicago. That's obviously Jacksonville. It isn't the Jets. It isn't the Patriots. It isn't Tennessee. It isn't any of those teams right there that, for all intents and purposes, has got an average to a below average quarterback. Um, the Bears, if they're smart, and contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that the Bears organization is just not a really smart organization.
yeah,
Yes, open up the checkbook for Ben Johnson if you believe he's your guy.
yep,
If you believe he's your guy, go get him.
yeah. Now, obviously, they got to
Yeah,
do
go.
due
Go.
diligence, interview
Mhm.
other candidates and everything.
Well, but
Um,
at the same time, if Ben
yeah,
Johnson is your guy, all those other interviews are just it's just cannon fodder just to show the NFL you're being thorough.
yeah,
But if Ben Johnson is your guy, go get your guy.
yeah.
Yes, interview him first and just simply tell him, all right, dude, we're gonna talk to these other cats, but you're our guy. So we're gonna go ahead and just start negotiating. But while we're doing all that, we're gonna go ahead and interview these other folks too.
Well, regardless, we can't start like giving him an official contract till he's done with the Lions when the Lions
Correct.
season's done.
Well, you can't even interview them
Yeah.
until
Well, they
the
can
season's
interview.
over.
Yeah, they can. If see, and that's why this game with the Lions and the Vikings is big. Because if the Lions win, they get the bye. You can at least talk to him over like a Zoom
The
call.
Lions have got to allow you to talk to him during the season. The season's
Yeah.
not over yet. So if you're going to talk to him, like let's just say during the playoffs or anything like that, and I'm on record by saying, and this might have been a few videos ago, that obviously one of the reasons why he stayed with the Lions, in my opinion, is because he wants to win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, do we honestly think that if they come short of that goal, that he may not think about coming back to
I don't
Detroit?
think it's just the Super Bowl thing. I think he just wants to go back out there because he didn't feel he was comfortable yet taking a head coaching gig. He wanted to come back and continue to call plays and feel like he was ready. But that could be a
Yeah,
case.
That could be the case too, or it could just be saying, "Hey, dude, I want to win a Super Bowl. This is the best shot I got at winning the Super Bowl." I'm just saying. He go to the Bears next year. The Bears, even with him in place, the Bears are not going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. We're
Even if he goes to Jacksonville, it's a lot that's got to happen for him to win that Super Bowl. He wants to win a Super Bowl. So, will he bypass another year if the Detroit Lions don't do it this year? Who knows? We don't know.
well, if that's the
That's what I'm
case,
saying. If that's the case, then the Bears should open up the checkbook and give him something to think about.
and in that whole situation, I don't know, because at some point you can't keep passing up these opportunities. Because at some point, if you keep passing these opportunities up, these organizations will be like, you know what? Okay, if you want to keep passing them up, we won't pay you no mind then.
Well, and again, keep in mind of what he's missing out on. You
Yeah.
got two. You got two right now. Really, really good up and coming quarterbacks that he is going to be a candidate to coach in Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence. So, I mean, they're really good quarterbacks. Caleb Williams has already shown he's a good quarterback, regardless of what Jaden Daniels is doing. He is putting up some really good stats for a rookie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then, the broadcast put up a really cool little stats of all the number one picks. I can't remember I think it was since 67, that Caleb Williams is number one when it comes to TD and turnover ratio. That's really good. That's a good stat to have when you're a quarterback. You can show that you are not turning the football over. You're
Yeah.
doing what's necessary to treat the football with reverence and holding on to it. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if the Super Bowl is such a big thing with him, and let's just see how this year ends. Personally, I think Minnesota gonna beat them in Detroit, going to the number 5 spot
Yeah, because
against
I heard
Tampa.
like Minnesota, the organization actually bought like tickets, like a group bunch of tickets to sit behind for fans to sit behind the Vikings sideline, and they did that, and the Lions had to check like, hey, is this illegal? And the league's like, no, it's not illegal. They can do that.
They can do that. They got money. You put tickets out there for purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like with I know with the Dodgers Padres series that was happening in the playoffs. Like the Padres literally only exclusively had their playoff tickets in that series against the Dodgers this year. Literally only to like San Diego natives. Like if you're like outside of that San Diego like county or whatever, you couldn't buy
hmm
tickets from other websites.
yeah. If the Dodgers got the money and they purchased the tickets first, then by all means, man, get your fans in them seats.
Yeah.
So, but I do like Minnesota in this upcoming game. But back on the Bears, it was a great win. I mean, anytime you can beat your most hated rival on the last day of the football season, you pump them down one spot forward, in which they got to go to Philadelphia of all places. And
Realistically, the Commanders ended up, I guess, having a comeback from behind win against the Cowboys. But
yeah, they
regardless,
beat Dallas. But anytime you can have your hated rival be placed in the position that they are, and you were the one that put them there, with Love being hurt, Watson being hurt, they got there in the 7th spot. They got to go to Philadelphia to play a rested Philadelphia team.
yeah.
So, I mean, it does not look good for Green Bay, and I gotta admit, at least I know you loving it because you can't stand Green Bay.
No, I don't. And
Yeah, so
and I don't mean to throw shade to the people, but we were in the same exact situation last year with Justin Fields. But the only difference was instead of knocking them down for seeding purposes, we had an opportunity to go into Lambeau, knock them out of the playoffs.
correct.
We couldn't do that. And Justin Fields, with all due respect, he played pretty bad that game. Caleb
Yeah.
Williams, by no means, I didn't think he played good. I thought he played okay. But when it was time to go out there and win the game, he put us in a position to win the game, and we won the
He
game.
he made the throws based on the call from the sideline.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that one play call we talked about where the pass went to DJ Moore, that was a really great play call. The calls that were made in the first half, was a well called game by TB, but the calls in the third and the majority of the fourth quarter, I don't know what the hell they were thinking about with all these wide receiver screens.
They were.
It
It's like
it
they were
got to the
playing to
point,
just hold on to win the game because they're like, okay, our defense is playing good.
yeah,
Let's just do these screens. Not make anything dangerous. Not have our quarterback throw into any chaos. We'll just get by and we'll win this game.
yeah.
And that
And
almost costed you this game.
but at the time they started doing it, it was like 7.5 minutes to go. I'm like, more dude, that's more than enough time.
Yeah,
That's more than enough time for
yeah,
them to, get the football back and come back. And
yeah,
then there was I want to say, try to remember, but it was a second down play, second down and 3. And I'm like, okay, let's just go ahead and play power football, get behind center, hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift off tackle, and then we can go ahead and, get this first down and wear this defense out. They're in shotgun formation. They won some stupid little misdirection,
yeah,
and then next thing you know, they lost 2 yards, and it's 3rd and 5. And I'm like, man, Thomas Brown, come on, dude, what are you doing?
yeah.
You know,
To their credit, I feel
it,
like this game they were under center a lot more. Now, maybe because the elements of the game of it being so cold was a
yeah,
reason why they were under center. Because like the first offensive series of the game, Caleb Williams fumbles the freaking snap.
yeah, yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand it too. But and that also went about as far as the play calls are concerned. But I'm just like, at some point, man, regardless of the elements, man, you got to trust your guys to do their job.
Yeah,
And both teams are under the same elements.
yeah,
So just call what's best for your team, and don't play calls that play right into the defense's hands, which is all of those wide receiver screens.
yeah. I thought,
And
like I
granted,
said,
one of them did work,
yeah.
whereas Roma Dunze did make a really good block,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
finally,
did
because on
Darnell Wright.
on the first drive of the second time, he didn't even attempt to make a block. Whoever the wide
No,
receiver coach is next year, um, I know Chris Beatty's respected, but I would say clean house with this entire coaching staff, leave nothing of Eberflus left. Whoever the next wide receiver coach is slash play caller is, they need to ingrain these wide receivers. If you don't block, you won't play.
yeah, I gotta admit, I agree with you there too. Just clean everything underneath your feet, Ryan Poles. I mean, I'm talking about head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, all the clean house. Get rid of as many as you possibly can, because I gotta admit, the stench of Matt Eberflus is still on this football franchise, and you need to go ahead and excommunicate that right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you saw a lot of it, especially with that 3rd and
It really
18.
started with that 3rd and 20, like prayer shot. I still don't
Yeah.
understand how he caught that. He just threw it up as he got hit and he came down with it. And I saw that and I'm like,
Are
oh,
we
here
talking
they
about the
go.
same one
This is
with
what's gonna
Tyreek
have them win the game, isn't it? Huh? And then
and
the next
Tyreek
play,
Stevenson when Tyreek Stevenson kept him in front of him?
yeah,
I was like, man, I don't know what the hell Tyreek was trying to do. If this dude was trying to go past you and trying to run a 9 route, I think you would have noticed that.
yeah,
But I mean, he just lobbed it up for grabs, and Tyreek he just ran too far, and the wide receiver just had all types of number 18.
yep,
He had all types of room. It wasn't really challenged by Stevenson. Stevenson even jumped up for the football like he was gonna get it
yeah,
instead of defending instead of going for the football. So I mean, and then he may wind up being a really good cornerback, maybe one day, but I mean, this year has just been a really bad year for him,
yeah,
and we probably need to get. Yeah, I think Eric Washington should go.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Chris Morgan got to go.
Chris
Beatty's got
Morgan.
to go.
God, he's
I
definitely
mean,
gotta go.
I gotta admit, yeah, it is time for let's do it again. Let's rebuild that coaching staff. Get Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
guys,
tired.
guys like Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, Mercedes Lewis, get off my team.
Yeah, get them old heads off your team. At first, I thought it might have been a good idea. If you're gonna bring an old head on, let it be the backup quarterback. I like Tyson Bagent, but I think we can get something for him.
I
You
think
know,
we can trade him and just get a veteran quarterback to back up Caleb. I
probably just get
understand.
a.
Well, he's talent. Yeah, he's got some talent, but
He's got some talent, yes. But if he was anywhere near what Caleb Williams is, then I gotta admit, I think he would have played at some point during this football year, but he didn't. So I say go ahead and trade him, get a veteran quarterback up in there that can bring Caleb along. Please, let's get a HC from the offensive side of the football.
yeah. And
Please.
before we get out of here, there was a report yesterday from ESPN's Diana Rossini who listed 6 potential head coaching candidates. 4 of them are defensive-minded coaches. 2 of them
Defensive
are
minded guy.
offensive. The 2 offensive were Ben Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury, and the 4 was Brian Flores from the Vikings,
Uh-huh.
Mike Vrabel.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, let me pull up this list because I had it in the chat. Um, Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator from the Lions. And then the most shocking one, which was like, I made a video about this yesterday. I'm just like, why? Anthony Weaver from the Miami Dolphins. I've never heard of him before ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and again, I think the reason why you have Glenn and Johnson on that list is because I honestly think if they can't get Johnson, then yeah, they got to take something from the Detroit Lions. They got to take something from somebody within the division. So
So if Ben Johnson know where I got, we're just going Aaron
if
Glenn.
go Aaron Glenn or go Brian Flores, you got to take something from some of the coaches inside the division because one of the reasons why Minnesota has been so good this year has been Brian Flores.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want about Jefferson and that wide receiving core and Aaron Jones and the backup quarterback and Sam Darnold. I get all of that. But because Brian Flores is so good at what he does defensively, that's the reason why Minnesota is where they are right now. So um and I just think that's probably where their focus is. Ben Johnson, number one. And if we can't get Ben Johnson, we got to take somebody's coach from one of those 2 teams.
No, they're gonna use that excuse saying, well, he's a good leader of men.
Probably. Well, first of all, you already know Brian Flores he can coach. Um, Johnson and Glenn just came around recently. Whereas Flores, he's been a mainstay as a defensive head coach for years on end. Coming up, I think he was the head coach of Miami. Then he went with Tomlin, and then Minnesota now brought him along to be their defensive head coach. So I mean, Brian Flores does have a really good resume. Is it a resume that can build a quarterback? No, not
No,
in my.
because I saw the Tua situation and
Yeah,
everything that was there. Those are questions in the interview that need to be asked.
yeah, yeah,
What what happened there? I
yeah.
understand you didn't want to lose games, but why were you treating this guy so horribly like he described he was being treated horribly? And how is this
Correct.
going to affect our quarterback?
Correct. And then on top of that, getting a guy from the defensive side of the football, we've already seen a couple of head coaches right there. Robert Salah specifically, whereas he went into the offensive team meetings because he didn't understand offensive football. He wanted a better understanding, so he went into the meetings. I'm like, dude, if you are just like every other defensive head coach that gets a head coaching job and you don't know offense, then yeah, we don't want you. In my opinion, get a guy that knows offense and know how that offense can help the defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that McConnell does really well with Brian Flores. He runs an offense that helps that defense because he knows it's a blitzing offense, and they like to try to keep up time of possession very high so that the defense stays fresh.
Yeah, and Jake Glazer on Fox this morning talked about how teams are inquiring about maybe trading for Kevin O'Connell, which I don't think that's going to happen, even though he's in the last year of his deal. But if the Vikings were that stupid to do that, hey, by all means, go do that, please. That would help us. Um, I don't think they would.
If you all are gonna do that in the last year of your deal, then Chicago Bears, I hope you all are one of those teams.
Oh yeah, I would call in now. If the Vikings were actually going to be like, okay, we'll give you Kenneth O'Connell. They basically want an entire farm system, though.
I mean, like I say, the head coach is the
It's
most
true.
important piece on the most important piece on the field.
Yeah, but the
Well,
thing when
I
I look
mean,
at this list, I don't like that Liam Cohen is not on this list. Offensive play caller for the Buccaneers, who's been amazing.
yeah,
Joe Brady.
yeah.
I can understand having reservations about Joe Brady, but Liam
Uh,
Cohen,
if
I
I'm
have
Joe
reservations.
Brady, I'm gonna stay exactly right where I am because I know eventually I'm gonna be the head coach of that football team.
True. So,
That's just me. I'm
um,
gonna be because I think eventually, um, I just do I honestly think Buffalo can win the Super Bowl this year? Because if they don't win the Super Bowl, I think they're just going to go ahead and make a coaching change.
Jalen Johnson is funny. I said what I said.
Yeah, I did. You see? Was that him who put up the card that said finish?
No, I think it was some defensive lineman. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
that. I saw
I
that. I'm
thought
like,
that was
bro, that
pretty
is the most
creative, though. I
huh?
thought that was creative.
Creative. Man,
I
that's some
thought it
high
was
school
creative.
stuff right there.
I know, but again, it's just creative. Whereas you put up that little reminder that says, you know what, we 4-12, but we gonna smack the shit out of them.
Man, if they had lost, it would have been find ways to lose. People would have made memes of find
Yeah,
ways to lose.
yeah. Well, I mean, we'd still be in the same situation we are now. We're gonna be looking for a head coach. We're gonna be looking for, we're gonna have Ryan Poles. Nothing would have changed with a loss. Everything would have still been the same, other than we might have had the ninth pick as opposed to the 10th pick.
Yeah.
We
Or maybe
still
would
are in the
actually we
position to
probably
get an
we
offensive
actually no,
lineman.
we had a higher pick because all the other teams ahead of us would have won because the Panthers won, we would have been a higher pick than them.
Or the Panthers did win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that doesn't
Panthers
help for
won.
a second round pick though.
No, no.
Whatever.
But I gotta admit,
Oh, now Dan Olaski's like Caleb competes his butt off. Oh, now you want to jump on the bandwagon.
yeah, they
Okay.
want to jump on that bandwagon after sitting over there saying he basically sucks.
Yeah.
Instead, well, no matter who the head coach is, no matter who the GM is, no matter what call's coming from the sideline, you still got to execute it. I mean, dude, come on now.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Um,
Rookie. You sitting over there talking about this guy like he, 5-6 years in the league. Man, stop it.
yeah.
Clickbait. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
a lot of questions are going to be asked about what the future goes. Um, I think what's going to happen going forward, on Tuesday, we'll come back, make a whole thing about the Bears because Monday will be past by then. I'm not off on Monday. I'll be at home working on Tuesday. But after everything on Monday concludes, we'll see what Ryan Poles will more than likely have to say. Give our thoughts about this entire cesspool of a season. Obviously, we've talked about it enough where it's been wrong, but we'll obviously revisit that stuff and do everything. NFL predictions will probably be Friday. I don't know if there's any playoff games on Friday, but we'll try to get that video out as fast as we can. But
Let's
look,
try Thursday. I'm off all day Thursday.
Thursday, I'll be working Thursday unless you're able to stay up super, super late.
What's super, super late for you?
Like
Because
it's me, like I'm getting back
you're
at
9 hours before me.
I'm getting home at like 8 p.m. my time.
8 p.m. Oh, it's still
Okay.
what? Oh yeah, that might be pretty early for me.
Yeah.
Never mind. Friday, usual time.
All right. Anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Bears beat the Packers. Happy about that, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday for season overview of Bears football. Peace.